watch later.
All right, we are recording.
All right, so so if you want to take notes, please do, because I'm gonna throw a lot out there, and some things are gonna retain or we're gonna relate to you, and some things will not. But I promise you that if you just listen the whole time, don't take notes, and listen the whole time, and don't watch it again, you'll retain about 20%. In a week from now, it will never be a habit. It'll never really go deep. So first and foremost, guys, like Catherine said, your best friend needs follow up and follow through, and a stranger needs follow up and follow through. But the irony is that the quote unquote brivy leads that only Glenn realizes are real humans, the quote unquote sign calls that are fake humans, even strangers become your friend. Your wife was a stranger, your husband was a stranger, your spouse, your partner was a stranger. And so everyone needs follow up and follow through. The irony is that we're going to start unpacking this, and then we're going to go deep, and then we're going to unpack it some more and then go deep. The irony is that the stranger will actually shoot you straight. Your friend may not. The stranger will be like, I can't go over 400. And, I'm going through a divorce and it's crazy, from Michigan. And so I need a new home in 2 months. But your friends can be like, oh no, life's great. I mean, we don't need to sell. I mean, we have millions in the bank, and our marriage is perfect, and our kids are perfect, and our life is perfect. I just was kind of curious if a less expensive home could be a good option, not because my husband lost his job, not because stress is creeping in and we can't pay our bills. No, 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 no. You don't know about the forbearance that we applied for 6 months ago. It's now due. No, 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 that's not the case. We're kind of curious. So we're going to tell you that, like, we don't have to sell, we don't need to move. But I mean, maybe if we found the perfect house, then maybe we'll move. Guys, they say buyers are liars, friends are too. Friends, 94% of people lie about their finances, and 99.99999999999999999. It's not an issue with technology. I'm just trying to get as close to 100% without hitting 100. 99.999% of your friends, they don't lie to you, but they may, leave out or omit the fact that their marriage isn't perfect, and their kids aren't perfect, and their finances aren't perfect. So here's the thing. Strangers will actually tell you the truth. And so first and foremost, when you think, well, I mean, I reached out one time and didn't hear back, that's actually a real person that you just didn't get a hold of. So hold that constant, that strangers actually tell you the truth. Friends don't always. All right. So Catherine has said it before, and you might be surprised, you may not be surprised, that it took 2 to 2.5 years to get this $1 million listing through follow up and follow through. Guys, I hear it all the time, and I was the same way. I would say, well, the internet lead, I reached out, I didn't hear back. Huh, that's interesting. So you sent them a text? I didn't know they asked you to send them a text. Well, that's what I do. Well, guys, do we communicate the way we want to, or do they communicate the way they want to? If we're going to be the friend, is it about us or is it about them? Well, I mean, I texted from the hours of 10 and 11 when my kids were in homeschooling. That's when I'm free. Huh, is that person free from 10 to 11? Because they might be working. They might be in a meeting. I didn't know text works. I didn't know 10 to 11 works. Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll see the text later. Okay. I don't know if Teresa's on this call, but Catherine, how many emails do you have in your inbox?
An unnecessary amount.
Okay, so I'm going to say maybe 50,000, 100,000. Is it possible? You're really good at communication, but is it possible that someone sends you a text, you may not see it in real time?
Absolutely. If I'm in a meeting, we're supposed to be present, right? Be the friend, the expert, be present. So if I'm in a meeting and I'm being present, I'm not checking my text.
Right. And so you get a text from a stranger, because guys, we are strangers to the people that call our signs. We are strangers to the people that go on our website, regardless if it's paid, not paid, none of that stuff matters. Guys, we're strangers with the referrals from our friend. So like Angela's best friend refers her best friend. That person doesn't know Angela. Everyone loves Angela, but that person doesn't know Angela. So Angela's still a stranger to that person. And so Angela doesn't know how they want to communicate. So she sends a text. Again, they're in a meeting. They get out of their meeting. Do you respond to strangers first or your best friends first? And so that's going to lead to our next thing about order taking. So here's the thing, guys. If they reached out, they have interest. When you don't hear back, it's because you made it about you, not them. They didn't ask you to text. They didn't ask you to send one text from 10 to 11. They didn't ask you to check in on your convenience and then not on theirs. Maybe they want a phone call. Maybe they want an email. Maybe they want a second text. I don't know. Maybe they actually want you to leave a voicemail, not just make a call and say, well, I don't leave voicemails. I just make calls, and they see the missed calls. Do you know how many random telemarketer missed calls I get? Guys, I'll tell you guys a quick story. You know, we all aren't fans of used car salespeople, but I'll share with Catherine this morning that I went in to get a car for the new year, a new truck for Jess, and I asked them to send me the how-to videos, and they said they would, and they didn't. And I reached out again, they said they would, and they didn't. And I reached out again, they said they would, and they didn't. Now, here's the thing. He might be a really nice guy, but I feel like all he cares about is transaction. The crazy thing is, I also said I wanted to downsize my car and get a less expensive car, you know, with the economy moving. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but I think the economy is going to change. I've asked no less than 10 times, including twice in person. How many times do you think they've sent me that car? 0. I've asked a used car salesperson to send me a car, and they've literally not done it. And guys, you know why? Because he didn't put it on his calendar. Then you've got the other side. Where Catherine was talking to a car person, and they said, you know, well, you go online and tell us what car you like. You go on Zillow and send us the homes you like.
They actually said that.
So now we're order takers. So let's start over again here, guys. The stranger is honest with you. Your friend is not. Your friend will tell you, you know, Christo, so we just want to keep business and personal separate, or I'm just really busy right now. So 2 weeks from now, when you see my home on Facebook, it was my avoiding. Guys, people love to avoid. Don't assume just because they avoid. People love to avoid, guys. People do not want conflict. So let's go back to the stranger. You know, no one likes strangers. Raise your hand. So I see my friend Drake in the background. Megan, were you married to Drake before you met Drake? That's not a trick question. You're saying no. Were you dating Drake before you met Drake?
No.
Were you best friends with Drake before you met Drake?
No.
Was it possible that Drake was a stranger before you met him and fell in love? I mean, he's like, oh, Johnny Knoxville, rippling abs, humor, and smart. He's got the whole package. He's going to be a great husband.
It's possible that he was a drunk stranger, but I'll put that aside.
Okay, so note to self, don't ask Megan.
Okay, continue.
Husband. But guys, so Megan's best friend and husband and father of her kids was a stranger. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to assume. You know, I can assume in this. You know why? It's physically impossible for them not to have been strangers first, unless they're third cousins and they met at a family reunion back in 1998. Drake, you're not related to Megan, are you?
He asked if you're related to me.
Maybe way down the line. But
We don't think so.
know.
We did the ancestry.com thing. We don't think so.
Guys, I'm not going off base here. We overcomplicate life. I'm having fun with this because this is life. Guys, life is really, really, really simple. Everyone says it's really hard. It's really simple. And it's not easy. So it is hard. It's simple and hard, guys. It's simple and hard, okay? It's simple and it's hard. Because if you have a lot going on in your life and you got kids and you're homeschooling and maybe you don't have a lot of confidence because you're newer in the business, we're still talking about following up with strangers, guys. We haven't moved on to friends yet. You send that one text and subconsciously you kind of don't want them to respond. And you don't have to nod your heads, because I was a new agent once too. And I'm like, you know, I kind of don't really want to talk to them because I don't know if I know everything about the market. And I don't know if I can find them right home, but I'm going to check the box and send them a note. And then I'm just going to kind of move on. Guys, sending a text to a potential client who's a stranger is no different than Beth or Jennifer checking in with a client and sending an email and saying, would you like to do inspections? And when they don't hear back, being like, I mean, I asked about inspections. I mean, there's no chance I spelled the email wrong. There's no chance it went in their spam. There's no checks that they don't check email. There's no chance. I checked the box. I did my job. If they want a home bad enough, they'll respond to my text. If they want an inspection bad enough, they'll respond to me because it's all about me. I'm going to send one note. Jennifer, would you ever send one note and then just move on with your life and be like, I guess they didn't want inspections?
Definitely not.
But thank you, Jennifer. So here's the thing, guys. Why do we do that? I mean, Brad is a follow-up king. Brad and Glenn, I got to pick on both of you guys. Brad, you know what, Glenn, I can't pick on Brad today in a fun way because I can't see him. So he doesn't deserve to get any accolades or recognition. I'm just going to go back to you, Glenn. Now Glenn just removed himself too. Glenn's like, wait a minute. I can't see your face. When I say pick on, it's actually a good thing. Guys, strangers become your best friends. Strangers become your husband with 2 kids in Indian land. Strangers become your future best friends, parent. Well, they're not going to become your parents, but they become your family. But if you assume that because they're a stranger, they're not going to work with you, if you assume because you sent them one text that they're not going to work with you or they don't need your help, or they'll respond. Let's talk about assuming for a second. We're going to go really deep on the stranger side, then we're going to move on to the friend side. Guys, when you send a text at 10 in the morning and they don't respond, again, they didn't see it and you're a stranger. Again, you're free, they're not free. How can we be the friend if we don't make it about them? So I'm going to challenge you guys to send the text, then send the phone call, then send the email, then send the text, then send the phone call, then send the email, then send the text, then send the phone call, then send the email. How hard is it for them to say, stop reaching out? They'll do that. I already bought a home. They'll do that. Thank you so much. We've changed our mind. They'll do that. Why are we not doing that? If you believe that you're making a difference, then you reach out until they respond. If you just want to check the box and live a life of passiveness, I think you all want and deserve to live a life of passion. But if you just want to live a life of passiveness, then send one text at 10 in the morning and say, I didn't hear back. Even though they didn't ask me to text, even though they didn't say to do it 10 o'clock, even though they didn't say it at one time. Oh, by the way, how do we be the expert when all we do is say, hey, this is David. I see you want to see 123 Smith Drive. Let me know how I can help you. What do you mean? Do you go to the doctor and be like, I go to the doctor and I'm like, hey, my son's head's hurting. The doctor's like, well, let me know how I can help. I'm like, I just told you my son's head's hurting. I don't know what to do. I came to you. Well, I'll call you later today and see if your son's head's still hurting. Well, I called you. My son's head's hurting. Can you help me? If you send one text and you don't hear back, and you don't send the second text, and if you don't call, and if you don't email, and if you don't write a handwritten note, guys, then we are no better than the 19,970 other realtors in town that everyone thinks are untrusted because it's all about us. Guys, you can be the best humans. I know this group. You guys are my family. You guys are wonderful humans. And that's actually probably one of your greatest gifts and weaknesses, because you're like, well, if a stranger really wants my help, they'll reach out. No. If the doctor hears one time that my 7-year-old son has a bad headache, he's going to stay on top of it. The practice is not going to just be like, well, we didn't hear back. I'm sure everything's fine. Well, no, my son might be in the ER. My son might be really sick. We don't know what's wrong. The doctor is going to stay on top of that. The doctor is going to check in. The nurse is going to follow up. We either care or we don't, guys. We can have these cute principles all day and night. But if we're not following up until they say yes or no, again, guys, we're not doing this to say yes. You don't hear me talk about scripts. You don't hear Catherine or Megan or anyone talk about scripts. Raise your hand if you've ever heard me talk about scripts. We don't do it because it's about being genuine, right, Megan? We're going to add that fourth one in. It's about being real. What I'm saying to you is, if someone reaches out and looks at a home at 10 at night, and you think that's too late to respond because you can be present with your whole family, and you check in one time in the morning at 10 in the morning and you don't hear back, and you're like, well, if they want it bad enough, they'll reach out. Hey guys, here's the good news. They are going to buy a home. You want the bad news? It won't be with us, because someone else is going to actually get a hold of them. Guys, they reached out at 10 at night because that's when their kids went to bed. They reached out at 10 at night because that's when their work stopped. They reached out at 10 at night, that's when things finally calmed down. Or they reached out at 10 at night because they just got into an argument with their spouse and they're really worried about money. And they're like, I can't go to bed. I can't calm the noise and the anxiety until I find a home for $350 that gets me out of my $1 million home because I overextended myself. And then we reach out at 10 in the morning, one time when it's convenient, in between paying our bills, taking our dog to the vet, going for a run. And that's all good, guys. We got to be healthy. We reach out one time and we don't hear back. Well, I don't want to overstep. Overstep? They asked you why their son's head's hurting. Until you either show them why their son's head's hurting or they say it doesn't hurt anymore, Are we okay being comfortable? It's very comfortable to send one text and move on with your life. And then you say to your coach, Megan, you say to team leader, Catherine, you say to your partners in crime on the team, you say to your spouse, oh, I'm working hard. I'm really busy. I've got lots of activities. I send tons of texts every morning, the same exact thing. Guys, here's the thing. How do we be the friend when we don't even know who these people are? How do we be the friend if we don't know what they need? How do we be the friend? How do we be the expert if we don't know why our son's head hurts? The doctor doesn't just say, oh, your son's head hurts? Here's some ibuprofen. Oh, your son's head hurts? Here's a tumor. Oh, your son's head hurts? He needs more protein or more fruits. No, you need to do a diagnostic. How do you be the expert if you're not being present by getting in front of them? So I'm going to challenge you guys. We're still talking about being the stranger. We haven't even been the friend yet. You can't be the friend if you don't know anything about being the stranger. You got to be present first, right? You have to be present. You know what being present means? It means meeting people where they are. You guys are all being present. I see all your beautiful eyes and faces, except Brad. Where's yours, man? I think Brad's working out right now, Catherine, which is good. He's getting healthy, but he's definitely working
Again?
out. There he is. He's at the gym. There he is. He's right. Okay, he's at the gym. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you here, Brad. You look good. He just wanted to show us he's at the gym. Okay, great. Guys, I keep going back to the doctor piece because if you call the doctor one time and set up an appointment or call and leave a voicemail in off hours, because like I remember my son Kane, when he was a year old, he's 7, he fell off of the countertop and hurt his head. And so we called the doctor and didn't hear back because it was like 10 o'clock at night. So we went to ER and he had a concussion. He was throwing up. We're like, our firstborn, we're like, the world's coming to an end. And do you know that the doctor and nurse called us 10 times a day until we got back in front of them and said the next day, later in the day, everything's okay now. He had a minor concussion. He's resting. He's on some minor antibiotics. He's okay. Guys, this is life or death. If they're reaching out to you, maybe it's to improve their family, their lifestyle. Maybe they need more space for homeschooling, home office. Maybe their finances are in a position where they need to downsize. But it is life or death. You know, it might not feel in real time like life or death, but real estate is life or death. Now, guys, you can burst my bubble and tell me, David, real estate's not that important. This is not life or death. Finance is not that important. This is not life or death. You can burst my bubble. Please challenge me to that. Now, my passion level may come down if you can convince me of that. But you know, I believe it is life or death. And you know why? Because God has placed on each and every one of your hearts. Greta's our land expert. You guys know that. Katie and our success team is just awesome. They give everything they have. So how do you tell them it's not life or death? Our success team works tirelessly to be the best for you and your clients because they do believe it's life or death. I believe it's life or death, guys, because God has placed it on each of your hearts to serve in the marketplace. And he did not give you the gifts that he's given you. He did not give you the passion and the energy he's given you to send a text at 10 in the morning and be like, well, if they really want this bad enough, they'll reach back out. Now, we're starting with hopefully encouragement. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm going to get into more positive in a minute. We're also going to talk about practical stuff, I promise. But first, I have to kind of lay the groundwork that if a stranger reaches out, guys, they weren't bored and they're like, I'm really bored. So instead of playing on Facebook and scrolling on Facebook, instead of looking at pictures on Instagram, instead of working out or paying bills, I'm going to look at homes that I have no interest in. No, they either have interest but can't afford it, have interest but don't believe that they're worthy, or have interest and actually, whoa, hold this for a second, they actually want to buy it. And that's why they actually asked about it. And then you 12, 24 hours later send one text that maybe they saw and maybe they didn't. And when you don't hear back, you're like, you know what? I mean, if they want to come to church bad enough, they know where we are. We're not going to reach back out. They came one time. They know where we are. We're not going to reach back out. Do churches just let you just never come back? No, they thank you. They thank you for the tithe. They thank you for coming for the first time. They welcome you back every single time because a relationship's not one way. Guys, one text at 10 in the morning is not being present. One text without the email is not being the friend. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. If you haven't built that friendship, which you start to a stranger, again, Dre and Megan are best friends, but they were strangers first. I mean, Daryl, who in your family, outside of your kids, who you knew in your heart, who in your family did you know before you were married, before you were engaged, before you were dating?
You want me
Anyone?
to answer?
What do you say?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, you can answer.
Oh, my wife?
So when did you guys meet?
Actually, when we were 16.
Okay, but what about when you're, by the way, high school sweethearts, I need to hear this story. So Daryl's got to share the story on team meeting on Thursday, but I'm pumped about this. Or Daryl, I'm going to call you offline. I want to hear this story. But and Allison just gave you an awe. I don't know if you saw that.
That's so cute.
A at Daryl. So, that's awesome. That's awesome. You and Bon Jovi are married to high school sweethearts. So, all kidding aside though, when you were 15, you didn't know her. She's your ride or die. She's your best friend. She's your soulmate, right?
Yep.
And God put her in your life when you were 16. But what about when you were 15? Did you know who she was from afar? You're like, oh, she's beautiful, but she's outside of my league.
No.
So Daryl at 15 did not know his best friend. And at 16, God starts this relationship that's going to lead to soulmates, marriage, kids, and just ministering to many, family, church. But what if Daryl said that first day, and Daryl, I can't wait to hear more of your story, man. But what if Daryl said that first day, no, you're a stranger. I don't know. I mean, you're beautiful, but I don't know. Or you're probably fortunate that she's like, oh, like, I love your humor. Your humor, man, you and Brad and Glenn, man, like I never had that humor. So like, I just had to like, I don't know how I lucked out with my wife, but you guys have humor that makes them laugh.
David, it's called swag.
Swag. Okay. I need some of that swag, man. I need some of that swag. You got to teach me some of that. So, all right. So let's go back to swag with strangers. That's going to be a boot camp.
That's a great boot camp.
There we go, Daryl. We're done. All right, guys.
Swag with strangers. We're done. Good game, guys. Good game.
All right. So, guys, here's the bottom line. You follow up and follow through with swag with strangers. But actually, what Daryl just said is so money. It's so on point because are you using swag with strangers? Are you making them laugh? Are you making them smile? Are you adding value to strangers? You send one text. Well, no, Dave, I sent 2 texts. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Did you get married after 2 texts? Did you get married after 2 texts? Daryl, do you only send flowers when you're in the doghouse?
Nope.
So I know you and your swag. You do swag with strangers, and then you triple down with your best friend. Guys, we don't earn the business. We don't earn the relationship with a text at 10 in the morning. And I'm using that as a referendum on not giving your all, guys. Like if you're dating someone at 16, or if you just meet someone at 16, like, wow, that person is so beautiful. Can we get that on a DHE shirt, Brandy? Swag with strangers. Swag with strangers. Like seriously. Honestly, Daryl, we're going to move on to the friend side. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to challenge you guys. Are you leading with swag with the strangers that reach out to you? Are you leading with swag with the strangers you meet at open houses? Are you leading with swag with the strangers that you pass at church or that are referred to you? Or you're like, no, I'm going to do the bare minimum. I'm going to send one text so I can put on Facebook or on Brivity. I'm going to track that I sent a text. Did they even get it? You sent an email. Did they even get it? I left a voicemail. Did you add value? Did you lead with swag with that stranger? So let's go on to the other side. So guys, I got to remind you, when someone reaches out on website, Brivity is our platform for our website. Brivity is our platform for your best friends to track. Brivity is our platform to use artificial intelligence to see what they're looking at. Brivity is our platform for you to put follow-up reminders. Brivity is our platform for Cindy's touch program. It's our platform for everything. So there's no such thing as leads. I don't think that Daryl, when he was 16, he's like, okay, that's a pretty good wife lead. How old were you when you got married, Daryl?
25.
Okay, so it took you almost a decade.
Yeah, I went through college, and that was we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, that's the wrong kind of swag with strangers, Daryl. That's not for today. That's a 10 at night, not 10 in the morning, there. So yeah, on to the next person. So swag with strangers just went for, yeah. So here's the thing though, guys. If Daryl gave up at 18, 19, 20, 21, or actually, you're lucky that your best friend didn't give up.
Right.
Yeah. He wouldn't be where he is today. But at 16, no matter how much Daryl's an awesome man of God, everyone loves Daryl. At 16, he probably wasn't as mature as he is today. And I think he just let us know that in college, he probably wasn't as mature as he is today. And so at 16, just like the stranger at 40, Emilio, they don't know what they want, guys. If Daryl had a Christian counselor at 16, he might not have listened, but he might have changed college a little bit. I don't know. This is not a conversation about swag with strangers, or you and Brad and Christos and Glenn can have your own conversation. But guys, I'm leading this with everyone in your life started as a stranger. My sons, before I knew them, God knew them, but I didn't know them. My wife, when I met her, she was a stranger. And if I didn't do the follow up with the stranger, I never would have built a friendship. So here's the thing before we move on to friends. If you communicate your way, not their way, well, you know what, guys? These are strangers. We have to earn the right to be their friend. We're not being their friend if we send a text, but they want an email. We're not being the friend if we send an email and they want a phone call. We're not being the friend if we make a phone call and they want a text. We're not being the friend if they reach out for help, scream for help, and say, my marriage is suffering, my tire is flat, I'm in a bad place financially, best Christmas ever, my phone's getting shut off. Well, I texted you. Well, yeah, I didn't get back to you because my phone is shut off. Remember Best Christmas Ever? I know I can push hard with you guys because I know your hearts, guys. And Best Christmas Ever, we went through a conduit because these families didn't have utilities all the time. They didn't always have cell phone service. One of the families that Brad brought in, their phone was shut off. So if you send a text, well, I tried to give $100, but I didn't know where to send it. Did you try hard enough? You send a text to someone whose phone is shut off, guys. It doesn't mean they don't need the $50. It means you need to find a way to put the $50 in their bank account. You can't find their phone number. Their phone's shut off. You can't find their address. Well, we're realtors, guys. You know how to find people's addresses, right? You know how to use the public records, right? If you want it bad enough, you'll get that $50 in Christina's hands, right, Brad? Brad gave thousands of dollars. Brandy, all of you guys did. That's what I love about you guys. I know I can push you guys because you guys know it's coming from my heart because I know your hearts. Guys, if someone needs that $50 and you know they need the $50, are you going to be okay with sending a text that they don't respond to? We had at least one family that did not have phone service over the holidays. What does a text do? You go home to your wife, you're like, well, I go home to Jess. I'm like, Jess, I tried to give him $100, but I sent him a text and they didn't respond. I guess they didn't need the $100 bad enough. No, guys, they didn't see the text. They didn't see the phone call. Maybe they don't have phone service. Maybe they're working the night shift as a nurse and they have to come home to 2 kids. Maybe they're a single mom of 4 kids, right, Brandy? Like, Brandy, I know you're always 100% focused, but has it ever been one time in your life where you might have missed a text? Forget about real estate. I mean, before that, like, think about like with 4 kids and homeschooling and like life. If getting the $100 to that family is important enough, guys, you'll make it happen. If it's not, you won't. We're still on strangers. If you don't feel like strangers are important, then share them with someone else in our group and let's get into a different industry. I don't want you guys to ever leave. I don't want you to ever leave DHE. I don't want you to ever leave real estate, but I have to remind you that strangers don't know what they need. That's why you need to be the expert. You're not their friend yet. So you don't know what they need until you get a hold of them. You don't send a text and assume. You don't send an email and assume. The same person who doesn't have phone service probably doesn't have email. And if they do have email, they don't have Wi-Fi to check their email. You see where I'm going with this? If it's on your heart to get that money to them, you'll do it. If it's on your heart to get the gifts to them, you'll do it. Why is it not on our hearts to get a hold of them to make sure they don't overpay? You know, we brag, and I hate to use the word brag, but sometimes we have to be the not secret agent because you know what? If you're the best doctor, you better scream to the rooftops because no one needs the urgent care doctor. No one needs a doctor who's going to commit malpractice. You guys are the best. You know why we win bidding wars, guys? Because you guys are the best. But you know what happens when you win a bidding war? Everyone else lost the bidding war. You realize that, right? You realize when you win a bidding war, everyone else lost the bidding war? So unless you don't believe that we win most bidding wars, Megan, tell me if I'm wrong. How often do we lose bidding wars? If we have 10 bidding wars, how often does DHE agents lose bidding wars?
I would say once at most.
Yeah, so
Out of 10.
Guys, 10%.
Really win a lot.
Michael Jordan missed 60% of his shots. We missed 10. So if you believe that we're the best, but you're thinking I'm new, I'm gonna have all the experience, well, shoot. Lucky for you, you have a coach named Megan. Lucky for you, you have a team leader named Catherine. Lucky for you, you have someone named Brian who leads New Homes. Lucky for you, you got the best success team in the world. Lucky for you, you have group calls now, and you have people like, I was just kidding with Daryl, and that's why with strangers, man, that thing's gonna go viral today. We have so many people with experience. Brad has all the luxury experience, and Chrysalis, you don't give yourself enough credit, but you gotta follow through. Everyone, Greta's a land expert. Guys, if you want to get a hold of someone, you will. Maybe you don't think it's important enough. It is. Maybe you think I sent one note. If they want it bad enough, they'll respond. Here's the thing, guys. They don't know that you want it bad enough. They don't know that you care. Or I can't believe I'm saying this. There's more than 30 realtors in Charlotte. And if someone else gets a hold of them first, we didn't earn the right to be the friend. So if Daryl just said, hey, you just gotta like how I do swag with strangers in college, he wouldn't be where he is today. That humility you see, that comes from bumps, right? That humility you see, that comes from lessons learned and mistakes made. Almost everything I share with you comes from mistakes, guys. I luckily don't have scars on my face, but under the skin, holy cow, I got a lot of scars from mistakes, guys. I'm sharing a lot of lessons learned. When Catherine's doing boot camps, she's not giving you hyperbole and conjecture. She's giving you from lessons learned. Brad's saying Jumpman logo is swag realtors, better winning percentage than MJ. It's true. Guys, first and foremost, I have to remind you, we're gonna get practical for a moment on the stranger. We're still on the stranger side. You have to believe that real estate's life or death. Put in the comments if you believe that real estate is life or death, that God put you in this industry to change lives for the better, that there's people that attempt to commit suicide because money has become a master that's taken over, that you can be a positive example as a husband or wife for their marriage, that you can minister to them. We're going to do DHE worship in a month. Why would we do that? The church was pumped that we're doing it because businesses don't do that because they want to keep faith out of the workplace, right? They want to keep this separate. But guys, it's all one. We have to love one another. How do we love them? By meeting them where they are, not where we are. I love these comments. So we're going to keep going. First and foremost, still on the stranger, guys. The most successful people have the most repetitious schedules. You know, Allison and I saw the same message on Sunday about being boring and being repetitious and being consistent, but not being comfortable leads to positivity and results. Guys, if you have a boring day, you're successful. If you're busy and you have too much going on, too many plates in the air, too many balls in the air, you can have all the plates in the world in the china cabinet. You take one out, you serve. You take the second one out, you serve. You don't load up your arms with all the groceries and then they drop and you're cursing and your 3-year-old hears it. Not that this ever happened to me, and you lose blood circulation. You make a couple trips, guys. It's really hard to be present when you're not stopping long enough to want to be their friend with a stranger. We're still being the strangers. Let's tie a bow around the stranger first. Move on to the not stranger. They reached out, guys. They reached out. They did not reach out because, now don't get me wrong, some people don't qualify, but until Teresa talks to them, they don't know. But they did not reach out because they have nothing better going on. Guys, raise your hand if you're bored in your life right now. Raise your hand if you have nothing going on. Raise your hand if you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll watch Netflix at 10 in the morning. Guys, no one's bored. No one's bored. If they are asking you about homes, they need you in their life. But they did not ask you to text them at 10 in the morning. They didn't ask you to send one note. Guys, the people that reach out to me over and over again, the doctors, Jackie, I'm going to pick on you for a second because I think the world of you. How many times did you reach out before we connected about the internship?
Oh gosh, quite a bit, quite a lot of times.
So, and what happened?
I finally got in touch with you.
And then what happened?
And then I got an internship and a full-time job.
So, wait, you mean I didn't like reject you and tell you that you were hurting me and my family by reaching out again?
Nope.
You mean I didn't cry to you and say that like you're being the opposite of a friend by reaching out multiple times? You mean I wasn't rude to you and I didn't say like, obviously I'm not interested because I didn't respond the first time? What did I say when I finally responded?
You said that you'd love to meet up. And so we grabbed coffee and we talked.
Are you scarred that it took so long for us to connect?
Nope.
So did it work out? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but did it work out?
It did work out.
Okay. You know, you're here. We all love you. You have a full-time career that started from an internship. They started from, gosh, you might have sent 10 messages. And to be honest, I love that because I showed your grit and follow-up. Guys, that's a good thing, Jack. It's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to pick on you. That's a referendum on me that I wasn't seeing Facebook messages that I wasn't Facebook friends with. So I wasn't Facebook friends with Jack at the time. Now I know how wonderful she is. I just didn't know her. She was a stranger. She was a stranger before she became a friend. If she would have reached out just once, you guys wouldn't know Jackie. But real estate's not life or death. So So guys, shame on me for not getting back to Jackie soon enough, but kudos to Jackie. Cindy, thank you, Peanut Gallery. Look at Cindy over here. Cindy's like, I think I sent at least 10. So I guess apparently,
But our success team is following up more than our agents, right? And our agents have people in their inboxes who need help. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that side. So here's the thing, guys. The stranger does not know you. You're not their friend, okay? The stranger does not know you. You're not their expert. What is the only principle that we believe in with God in the center that you have in your tool belt before you connect? It's being present. It's showing them you're not too busy. It's being proactive. It's finding a way to get a hold of them so that you can show them that you're the expert, that you can find the best deal. You'd be like, look, that home you sent, it's overpriced. That home you sent is in a community of foreclosures. We can find a better deal. It has 485 in the backyard. That farm behind it, it's going to be public housing. That's not the right house. Now you're the expert. It's how you earn the right to be the friend. Guys, it's actually easier. What if I told you it's easier to work with strangers? If Daryl was in a prearranged marriage, how would that marriage work out for you today, Daryl? I mean, you're pretty happy in your marriage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What if it was a prearranged marriage? What if you were 16, you were told you're going to marry Rebecca Johnson? Like, she's a great girl and she's perfect for you. What do you think your life would have looked like in a nutshell? Not a lot of swag with strangers, well, maybe too much swag with strangers, to be honest.
Right. Probably be miserable.
You wouldn't be in this great place you're in today. So here's the thing, guys. What if I told you that you actually have the opportunity to help more with strangers than with friends? Because friends, and we'll get to this in a second, friends don't want to mix business and personal. Friends know Glenn from his tutoring days. Friends know Brad from his Wells Fargo days. Friends know Christos from his restaurant days. Friends know Emilio from his golfing days. You see where I'm going with this, guys? Everyone thinks, well, my friend's going to pick me. Then they don't pick you. And you're like, maybe I'm not good enough. What did I do wrong? Well, they don't know you're the expert. They don't know that you're present enough. That's a whole different conversation that we've had before. We'll have again. Let's go back to the strangers, though. When someone reaches out to you guys and you don't respond more than 2, 3, 10, 20 times, it's on you. It's on me. It's not on them. They reached out for help. They said, my son's head hurts. Doctor's like, well, I didn't hear back. Well, hopefully they didn't die. Like, you need to check in again. Let's move on to the friend for a second. Catherine was talking about how she had almost 2.5 years of follow-up and follow-through. Anyone who knows me knows, and Jennifer's seen this a lot this year, guys, all our $1 million listings took between 1 and 3 years of follow-up and follow-through. They would say they're interested, then go dark. They would say they're interested. Guys, I've sent texts and phone calls and emails and client party invites and checking in over the holidays, no less than once every 2 weeks to people without one response. And a year and a half later, I'll get an email, when can you come list my house? And you know why that's okay with me? Because if you truly believe that we're here to be the friend for those that need us to be present in all things and be the expert when they need us to be the expert, then it's not about me. Like, they didn't ask me to send them a text this morning at 10. They didn't ask me if I can invite them to a client party. They didn't ask me to ask them if they're okay. So I'm being the friend, I'm being present, and when they're ready, they'll reciprocate and give me a chance to be the expert. But the friend piece, I was showing them that I was being the friend, and it's unilateral. So what do we talk about? Giving more than you take. Giving more than you take is not bilateral, guys. You might just give abundantly and give abundantly and give abundantly and never get back. But if you're not checking in with your friends, if you check in and you don't hear back, oh, I guess they don't need anything. I checked in with a stranger once, I didn't hear back. I guess they don't need anything. Maybe when you don't check in with your friends, it's not that they don't need something, it's because they do need something. Maybe they're not responding because they don't know what to tell you. Do I want to give David bad news? He seems like he's in a good mood. He's checking in. I'm just going to say I'm okay. I'm going to say I'm fine. Glenn, when you ask Jody if how she's doing, she says fine. Is that good or bad? Glenn says bad, guys.
Bad.
Glenn says bad, guys. Brad, when you ask Irina if it's okay, if you do X, Y, Z, and she says it's fine, can you try to like stop doing your curls for a second and would you nod if it's okay when Irina says it's okay? Is it really okay?
It is not okay.
It is not okay, guys. So when you reach out once to strangers, your way, not their way, your time of day, not their time of day, you don't hear back, It doesn't mean they don't need help. It means you're not being present and the friend. So you don't have a right to be the expert. When you reach out to a friend and you don't hear back, it doesn't mean it's okay, guys. It means they're like, how do I tell David I'm going through a divorce, my husband's cheating on me? How do I tell David I can't make my next mortgage payment? How do I tell David that we're worried about our daughter and her anxiety? We're worried about our son and drugs. How do I tell my friend that? And so you have to be there for them over and over again. So I just keep checking in and I just keep checking in and I keep checking in, but I don't send texts at 10 in the morning, guys. I send a text at 10 in the morning. If I don't hear back in real time, I send a phone call, then I send an email, then I invite them to meet up for a coffee or a glass of wine. I meet them where they are. Can I swing by with a little gift when you want to meet? It's COVID time, right? So maybe some people are like, well, David, I know you want to meet. I don't want to meet. Hey, if you don't want to meet, I haven't heard back. Maybe it's because you're worried about COVID. You want to Zoom. I love Zoom. I don't really love Zoom, but I want to meet them where they are. It's not about me. I like sending texts at 10 in the morning. That's why I'm using that example. But no, other people may not like receiving them at 10 in the morning when they're trying to do homeschooling with their kids. Maybe they don't receive them at 10 in the morning when they're working. Guys, when your friends don't respond, when strangers don't respond, it's because they didn't get the message or they don't know who you are and they don't know how you can help. When a friend doesn't respond, they got your message, but they don't know how much you care, or they think you're too busy for them. And because they don't know how much you care, they don't want to share that their marriage is going south. Because they think you're too busy for them, because the first time you reached out in 6 months, they're like, I'm not going to drop on them that my son ran away. That's the last thing I'm going to do. I think David's just checking in out of the blue because his business is down. He's just checking in out of the blue because maybe he does know that something is wrong. And now I feel guilty. Guys, no response is a response, okay? From your friend. These are separate, guys. Swag with strangers, be the friend. Man, I'm not gonna get this out of my head now. We're gonna have to get hoodies, swag with strangers. So here's the thing, guys. If you won't wear the shirt, swag with strangers, if you won't wear that hoodie, it's because you assume that people are gonna assume, which is true. But if you're being the friend and you're being present, you're gonna give them a chance to ask you what it means. But if you assume that one text at 10 in the morning is enough, and if they really want that house bad enough, they'd respond, then you're not meeting them where they are and you're not being the friend. You haven't earned the right to be the friend because you haven't done your part. It's really comfortable to send one text and move on. Oh, I did my part. I asked my son to come down and read. Our oldest son has ADHD, guys. If I ask him to read one time, anyone who knows any 7-year-old boy, especially with a lot of activity, energy, and no one in this group knows anything about 7-year-old boys, right, Brad? But that have energy and then maybe want to be defiant. He's like, nah, Dad, I'm okay. I'm not going to read. Okay, well, enjoy some more candy. Hey, would you mind eating some chicken and broccoli? No, I'm good, Dad. Okay. I mean, hey, guys, my son said he didn't want broccoli. My son said he liked his candy. My son said he didn't want to go to school today. I mean, he knows best. He's the expert, not me. That stranger looking at homes at 10 at night. I mean, they didn't respond. They must have already found the home. They didn't respond. They don't want the home bad enough. There's not 20,000 other realtors out there. Guys, how can we be the friend if we're not even meeting them where they are? The family that doesn't have a cell phone over the holidays, a text message is not enough to get them money. The stranger who messages you in the middle of the night and you send one text, it's not enough. Guys, I love the swag with strangers because it's so true. Swag means personality, passion, energy, using the gifts God's given you to make someone laugh, to help someone. People need more humor. I need more humor, guys. People need peace to go to joy, but you can't have one without the other. If you're not being, and Jasmine just put, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Amen. That it's so true. The stranger is hard on the front end and easy on the back end because the friend is hard on the front end, easy on the back end. The marriage is hard on the front end, easy on the back end. Guys, in every relationship, you're going to do this. It's called life. When you think you figured it out, then another pebble goes in your shoe. Until you die, you're going to have ups and downs. The stranger, you stay in front of them. They don't care about you. They don't care about me, guys. They don't. And so if we can't add value as the expert, they're going to tell us. If they don't tell you they don't need you, it's because they do. And they just didn't get the message, or they're overwhelmed, or they didn't see it, or they're making an assumption that you're too busy for them. It doesn't mean they don't need help. It doesn't mean your son's head doesn't hurt. It means the doctor needs to keep checking in because you're overwhelmed and you're worried about your son and you have another child. Yeah, Angela, you can never give up on marriage. You can never stop working. What if you did that, guys? What if he said, well, I sent one note and I didn't hear back. I guess my wife doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to go to church this week. I guess my husband doesn't want to go on that vacation. No, guys, how can you have a relationship without communication? But again, everyone in your life started as a stranger. So if you reach out to someone who's a stranger and you don't hear back, you either didn't reach out enough times, didn't reach out on their time frame, or didn't communicate their way. And if they were a best Christmas ever family, you would not give up. On the friend side, guys, friends know you from high school. We all love Daryl, but here's the thing, guys. We didn't know Daryl in college. He had a great heart, but he also did a lot of swag with strangers. And we're joking now because we're past that. We all had our moment, but he's laughing. But he probably has some of the same friends from college and then a lot of new ones. And those friends from college are like, man, you've really grown up. And the new ones are like, man, I can't imagine Daryl would swag with strangers. I can't imagine that time. Because, the Daryl we know is Principal Daryl. And like all he knows is a straight and narrow and focus, and he's perfect and he's amazing and beautiful smile. Man, I saw that picture of you from like back in the day when there was like 2 Daryls. Man, that's amazing encouragement, man. Holy cow, man. Like, holy cow. Just because he started and you had a rough childhood with chains, or maybe you gained some extra weight, doesn't mean you have to live there. Guys, just because you reach out to someone you don't hear back doesn't mean they don't want your help. It means they need your help even more. If they can respond in real time, maybe they don't need you as much. The friend who doesn't respond to your text, maybe it's because you only did once every 6 months. Maybe you did a text and they don't know how to respond. How do you message in a text? My marriage is crumbling. How do you message in a text? I don't know how to reel in my kids. My wife is talking to one of her friends last night, and she's going through a tough marriage, which is going separate. That's not going to happen in a text. They might text all the time. You're not going to hear about that in a text. When you don't hear back from your friend, it means they're struggling. When you hear back from a stranger, it means you're overwhelmed. Your friend didn't see it. Your stranger didn't see it. They either didn't see the message or they didn't see your heart. No answer is an answer. Delayed obedience is disobedience. If you're not reaching out to everyone in your life every 30 days, they're not your friend. If you're not following up with a stranger until you get a hold of them, you haven't earned the right to be their friend. And if you're not the friend, you can't be the expert. This is all about being present, guys. The stranger is the easiest person in the world to help. You're not judging. See, guys, most of us knew the people in our life before real estate. A lot of the gang is new. For the new people in the group, everyone knows Jasmine from Wells Fargo. For the new people in the group, everyone, like I said, knows Glenn from the tutoring days. Everyone knows Leslie from Virginia. Everyone knows Brian from mortgage. You see where I'm going with this, guys? So don't assume that no answer means they're not interested. It actually might mean they need you even more than you could ever imagine. So what does this look like? At DHE, guys, we have $1 million listings and first-time home buyers. We have renters that need to rent, and we have renters that will buy. We have people that come on our website just from other listings that we have, and we have people that we pay to come to our website. We have people that we attract through iHeart, and we have signed calls off for listings. We have new homes opportunities. We have my clients. We have Catherine's clients. We have Beth and Success Team's clients. We have a lot of clients. And if we share that person, they need help because we already know them as our friend. And so you're not a stranger. They're your friend. And so don't assume if you don't hear back, they don't need help. Don't assume reaching out and you don't hear back, they don't need help. If anything, they need even more help. So here's the thing. The good news is you have a lot of opportunities to help our friends to become your friends. You have a lot of opportunities to help strangers that are reaching out to us. Guys, the doctor's office and the coffee shop and every business doesn't say, I really hope a lot of friends come in. What do they say? I really hope people come in. The church doesn't say, I hope all my friends from college come in. Although Daryl's probably thinking, and my friends same way, man, a lot of my friends from college, they need to be going to church. They need to be going to church more than some of my friends today. The restaurant doesn't say, I hope all my friends come in. You know what the irony is? The restaurant owner doesn't want their friends coming in because the restaurant owner wants strangers coming in because they don't have 1 million friends, but they have 1 million strangers. You want to build a real business worth owning? You want to help the most people? Get to strangers. The pastor with all the influence in the world, how many friends do they have? 3, 5, 10? The most successful people have 5 friends, guys. We are fortunate to have a group where we all love one another. But I want to remind you guys of that. Think about that. If you're a business owner, if you own a coffee shop, if you own a restaurant, if you lead a church, if you lead anywhere in your life, do you want only your friends or you want strangers? Do you only have so many friends? And the challenge is some of them, you get to know them better, like, I don't know if they're really that good of a friend. My college friends aren't my adult friends. My adult friends, I didn't know last week they were a stranger. Think about that, guys. If you want to reach your true potential, you got to go after strangers. If you want to reach your true potential, you start with your sphere, you start with your friends. But here's the thing, guys, they don't know you in real estate. They don't know you as the expert. So you better show them you're the expert. Lean on our group. Lean on each of us. There's a reason we do boot camp every other day. There's a reason we do group coaching. There's a reason why we do trainings. There's a reason why we do team meetings. Guys, we're not doing all this because you're reaching out 10 times a day and asking for help. We're doing all this because you're not reaching out 10 times a day asking for help. See where I'm going with this? If you're reaching out every day saying how we win the bidding war, then we'll just give you real time. You call Catherine, she'll show you. You call Megan, she'll show you. We're doing this because we don't want to assume there's not something that you need help with. Bootcamp was Catherine's brainchild to give you 2 days a week of practical accountability. Now we replace Wednesday with Monday coaching with Megan. That is for accountability. Have something to look forward to. Megan doesn't want to assume you know everything. So she's going to give you time to show what you know and what you don't know. Don't assume, guys. Don't assume with strangers. Don't assume with friends. You reach out to every stranger in your life until they become a friend or they say they don't want to be your friend. You reach out to every friend in your life until they tell you how you can help them. Every single person in your life, I know that you can help them because God put them in your life. God wouldn't put them in your life if you aren't there for a reason. Does that make sense? Churches wouldn't exist, guys, if God just assumed that you're getting everything you need in your living room. Temples and synagogues wouldn't exist if God assumed you're getting everything you need in your living room. The challenge is the world is broken and corrupt and wrong and divisive. There's so much beauty, but you're seeing all the junk in the world, right? So we need this time together. We need time in fellowship. If you don't hear back from a stranger, it's because you're making it about you, not them. If you're not hearing back from a stranger, it's because you're not being a friend. If you're not hearing back from a friend, it's because they don't know that you're the friend. You're not reaching out enough as being present. Guys, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been talking with Jennifer and Catherine a good bit, and Megan, that, I pick on a lot of you guys because I love you guys, and Catherine does, and we share so many clients because we trust you, and so when we don't help them, someone else is hurting them. When we don't help them and you don't hear from them, it doesn't mean it's okay. And when they say it's okay, it doesn't mean it's okay, right, Brad? When they say it's okay, it doesn't mean it's okay. When they say it's fine, it doesn't mean it's okay, right, Glenn? Christos, I know you're not in a relationship, but when you start dating and when you get engaged and when you get married and they say it's okay not to get flowers, it's not okay. When they say it's okay to stay on the 2 a.m. at Bubble, it's not okay, right, Daryl? Thank you for letting me pick on you guys a lot. So guys, don't send one email, move on with your life, because maybe they didn't get it. If you send a text, you better follow up with a call to make sure they got it. If you send an email, you better follow up with a text to make sure you got it. You stay in front of them until you hear back from them. Jackie's here today because I stayed in front of her. Oh, let's pick on Megan for a second. Megan, how many times did you and I meet about you joining DHE? How many times did you reject me?
So many times.
Guys.
It was years.
Guys, I can do this all day. Do you know how many times I followed up with Megan before she said yes? Do you know how many times Jackie followed up with me before I said yes? And we're all one family. So I'm promising you, just because they didn't respond or just because they gave you a response you didn't want to hear, doesn't mean. Now, if the stranger says no, you want to ask one follow-up question. But when the friend says no, you want to ask a lot of follow-up questions. See, the stranger doesn't know how much you care, so they don't care how much you know. So you better be really present and you need to get a hold of them. The friend, you better be reaching out every 30 days. And with the touch program, you're staying top of mind. So you're checking in as a friend. Cindy's touch program is showing them that you're the expert. So you can just check in with a friend. That's a blessing. The stranger needs to become a friend as fast as possible. The friend needs to know that you're the expert as fast as possible because you care, because you're present. So guys, I'm going to challenge you. Because, when you ask me, like, how do I get all these Panther clients? It's not from sending one text. I can guarantee you that, because some of these guys, I can send 100 texts, I don't hear back. Other guys, they respond right away. You know why? Because I built a friendship. As a stranger, they don't respond. Do you think that a Carolina Panther is going to respond to a random text from a realtor? No. So what I do is sometimes I have to be like, hey, Mike, can you remind this guy that we know each other? And then I build a friendship. And because they didn't know me before, I'm the expert. But here's the thing, guys. No one cares how much you know until you know how much you care. You all have people in your life. You have your friends. You better be checking in today and tomorrow. There's nothing more important. You have strangers that we share with you, that reach out to us, that are going to be your friends. But if you don't help them, you know what happens? Someone else is going to hurt them. And if you're okay with that, that's not okay. Reach out to someone else in our group that has time for them. Be honest. If you don't have time to reach out 10 times, if you don't have time to bug Megan, were you mad at me when I kept reaching out?
No, you know, the guys, the last reach out that did it was, he told me happy birthday.
Oh,
I remember that. He reached out on my birthday. He was like, "Hey, happy birthday. How you been?" And that was the last time that door had to be opened.
that's weird. You mean I didn't like talk to you about like giving you leads and clients and making you money?
Nope. Nope. Happy birthday. How you been?
So guys, Megan was my friend that I just kept checking in with. And she actually said no. But when a friend says no, you keep going. When a friend says no, you don't stop. When a friend doesn't respond, you reach out again. With a stranger, when they say no, you move on. So like, I mean, Glenn, you've never been, turned down, but Brad, have you ever been turned down before you met Irina? I mean, Christos, you never get turned down, right? I mean, if you ask a girl out and she says no, you probably move on. But if you ask your wife out and she says no, you better not give up, right, Daryl? You ask her for a date night and she says no, you better not give up. So guys, I have a hard stop because my wife is leading a church group of women about one room over. And I'm like full of life and I can keep going all day. We can do a follow-up. You guys tell Catherine, don't tell me, because if you say no, it's going to hurt my feelings. But if you tell Catherine, she just won't tell me. She'll just make some excuse that like that you guys are too busy selling too many homes. But if you want to follow up, that was just the tip of the iceberg about how you don't give up a stranger until you find a way to get a hold of them. You don't give up with a friend until you die. There's so much more here, but I only had the hour today. But we can do a follow-up next week. We can do a follow-up in person. So I'm going to follow Catherine's lead as the boss. But I hope this was helpful. I hope it was like a good start. I hope it kind of motivated you guys. I hope it encouraged you. I was about to get into like a lot of positivity, but I hope it was helpful, guys. Part 2 is follow through. It's so true, Christos. Actually, that might be part 3. Part 2 might be how to pull together to follow through. But I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful start today. And I'll leave you with this. If someone reaches out as a stranger, you don't give up until you get a hold of them. If someone doesn't reach out as a friend, you better. Okay. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk with you really soon.
Thank you, David. Bye.